So I'm going to make this pretty quick because I know everybody's probably about ready for a break, so we'll try to hurry through this. So so I'm Sheri Graner Ray. I am from McAllen, Texas. How many people know where McAllen, Texas is? Hey, I got people that know. For those of you who don't, it's way down there. It's not the end of the world, but we can see it from there. I grew up on a cattle ranch in deep South Texas. We had about 300 acres of star ruby red grapefruit, and the rest was in Santa Gertrudis cattle. I grew up in FFA and 4-H and all that kind of stuff. How in the world did I end up in games? Well, I went to Pan American University, which is now referred to as the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. There I found this little game called Dungeons and Dragons. Wow, what is that? So I started asking all my friends, what do you know about Dungeons and Dragons? And of course, again, remember what I said, 4-H, FFA. Not too many people knew about Dungeons and Dragons back then. So I actually put an ad in the school paper asking for somebody to teach me Dungeons and Dragons. And sure enough, I had somebody answer, and they taught me, and I fell in love. This was the most exciting and wonderful thing I'd ever done, until our dungeon master joined the Army and left all his books with me. And so if I wanted to keep playing, I was going to have to learn to run the games, which is where it just lit a passion in me and an excitement. This is what I wanted to do. So in about 1985, my dad moved the family to Austin, where through a roundabout way, I started a little company called Origin Systems. Yeah, that's me right there. This is back in the beginning of the games. That was in 1989. I started on the Ultima series of standalone titles. And from then, I've gone on and I've worked at a whole bunch of different companies. I've worked with a lot of really cool IPs and some really interesting original IPs. I founded 2 organizations aimed at furthering the goals of women in the game industry. That's Women in Games International and the IGDA's Women in Games Special Interest Group. I ran both of those for probably a total of about 12 or 15 years together. I've been on a number of different boards of directors and advisory boards where I've met some really cool people and really done some really fun work with furthering the industry in the areas of diversity and inclusivity. I've won a couple of awards, and I wrote a book called Gender Inclusive Game Design. Funny thing about that book is I really thought it was going to be the first of many books about gender in the game industry, and unfortunately it wasn't, and that really kind of surprised me. When I started, we had about 3% of women in the industry. Today it's up at about 12.5. Sounds pretty good, except when you look at that's over 30 years. So yeah, it could be a little better than where we are. But anyway, I want to talk about why do we make games? Why do we do what we do here? We do it because it's easy. Yeah, it does. We do it for the fame. Yeah, not so much. It's got to be for the money. Yeah, no, none of this stuff. We don't do this. We don't do what we do for any of this. We do it for one reason, and we do it for the passion. We all love what we do, and we have a deep passion deep in our souls that drives us to do what we do in this industry. Where did that start? It probably started pretty early. Chances are this is where many of you started. We played something and it like changes your life. It made us experience feelings and emotions that we'd never felt before, and it felt good. And we decided at that moment that's what we were going to do. We were going to do this forever. We were going to develop and make games, and this was going to be fun. So off we went, and we went off to school, and we had our hearts set on making the games. And we went to school, and we studied really hard, worked with different study groups, and when we got on up into college, we worked with teams that we probably didn't like, but that doesn't matter. We worked on it, we got our projects done, and then we graduated. This is interesting. Again, when I started, nobody in the industry had college degrees. In fact, if you had a college degree, you were told, yeah, you just wasted 4 years that you could have been making games, learning stuff you didn't need. Today, 85% of the developers have college degrees. That is a huge increase, and I'm really glad to see it. Because that way, they can go and make new mistakes and don't keep making the same dumb mistakes we made. So anyway, we came through and we graduated and we're on our way, and so we go out and we get our first job, and it's probably in QA, which probably means we're spending 5 to 6 days a week, 8 to 10 hours a day, working on the same broken game, right? We're living in an apartment with 2 or 3 other people, living on pizza, Mountain Dew, working. But man, this is it. We're here. We're doing what we want to do. So we work hard, and we're watching for that opening. And where's that first opening? Finally, it comes. There's that opening, and we go for that interview. It's that junior developer position. So we interview, and man, we're sweating bullets because that's the job we want. That's the road. And you know what? We get it. We get the job, and there we are, and we're working at the company we've always wanted to work for, and it's so exciting, and we show up for work the first day on that Monday, and they take us in, they put us at our desk, and they say, "You're working on Kim Kardashian." Oh, wait, it's not Kim Kardashian, it's a Kim Kardashian knockoff. Wait a minute, that's not what we signed up for. I didn't sign up for any of that. This is what I signed up for, right? I signed up to do this. This is my dream. Sure, this may have been where you started, and this is what you wanted to do. But you know, if you're going to dream, you need to dream bigger than this. What do I mean by that? Let me introduce you to this guy. He laughs because I keep telling him he's in all my talks. This is Jan. Jan started off as an intern. He came to me, I hired him, brought him as an intern, and I hired him on as a developer as a designer when I was at Shell Games. And he came on, at the time we had a project we were working on, and it was giving us a lot of problems. We just couldn't get the right fit with the audience, and we were getting pushback, and it wasn't what we wanted, and the licensor was not really happy with us, and we just couldn't figure out what was wrong. And so he called me. So one afternoon, he called me at home on a Saturday afternoon, and he says, "Sheri, I think I got it. I think I've solved the problem. I think I know what we need to do." He says, "I'm in here. It's Saturday. I'm not supposed to be here, but I'm working on it." And he says, "And what I'd like to do is on Monday, I'd like to take it out and take it back to the focus groups, and I think I've solved it." I was like, "Oh, okay. If you think you've got it, great." So he did. And he took it back to the focus groups, and he did it. He fixed it. He solved the problem, and we were so happy. You know what that title was? That was Daniel Tiger Stop and Go Potty. So why am I telling you this story? I'm telling you this because if this is your dream, this dream is too small. This is a really small dream. Because these games already exist. We have these games. And besides that, they're really not your dream game. They may have been. They were somebody else's dream when they were started, but today they're not your dream game because they belong to a team. They belong to a company. They belong to the fans. But not you, and it's not your dream. So if you're going to do this and you're going to succeed, you've got to make your dream bigger. You have to find your passion in a bigger way. What does that mean? Dreaming bigger means learning to play the metagame. And that means reaching out beyond yourself and beyond your own dream and finding your dream in making something for him, and him, them, her, them, and yeah, even him. Because it's about making the game for the audience. It's about finding what the audience wants, no matter who that audience is. And in fact, reaching out and making sure it's for an audience that is bigger than yourself. And making sure that's the very best Kim Kardashian those girls have ever seen. That's where the passion is. So I was working on a product for the Department of Defense. And it was a game I was assigned to make a game about teaching the principles of RF geolocation. How many here know what RF geolocation is? I think I've got one. Okay, it's about radio frequency and signal processing. It's not triangulation, it's about using the time and distance of arrival. So it's dry. It's really a dry subject. But we took that, and I knew what we were doing, and I knew the audience, so we're going to make this. So we made this game. And we made it it was kind of a real-time simulation game. We put it out there. About 3 months after we put it out, I had a fella come back into the office, and he was laughing. He said, "You know what, Sheri?" He says, "We put that game out there." He says, he said, "Last week, we had 2 operators get into a lot of trouble." He says, "They went back after hours. They broke into the training room to go back to play the game." Win! That's my win. I won. That's my dream. And that's the meta. That is the meta of what we have to do, is we have to reach out beyond ourselves and reach out to the audiences to grow. So I went out and I asked a whole bunch of different developers, why do you make games? Here's the answers I got. In none of these answers do you see, I wanted to make a better FIFA. I wanted to make a better Call of Duty. It's all about the audience. No matter who that audience is, and making the very best game for them. So the question isn't, is your dream big enough? It's, is your dream big enough for them? Your answer has to be yes. We must have dreams bigger than ourselves. That is the calling, and that is the developer's ideal. That's what you have to do. We have to make games that matter. Games that entertain, that educate, that allow our players to escape, to help them heal, to make them cheer, make them cry, fall in love. We must have that passion for them, no matter who they are, and to make sure it's big enough for everybody. That's what we have to do. That's what I've got. Thank y'all for your time.